as I'm coming in, I'm hammering. Bam. That's what I'm looking to do. Welcome back to another episode of Scenic Fights, Fight Scenes Breakdown. I'm Logan Love.
I'm Chad Vasquez.
Today we're breaking down one of our most requested films, The Raid 2, specifically Hammer Girl scene, played by Estelle. If you haven't seen the scene yet, it's one of the most frenetic, exciting scenes we've done. On that note, viewer discretion advised.
Yeah, it's a messy scene, so just heads up.
Are you ready, Chad?
Let's do it.
You ready? All right, let's do it. You know when someone's wearing sunglasses in the subway, something's up.
Like her style. I like the black hair with the brown jacket.
Are there many women you don't like, Chad?
Nah.
All right, she's going. She immediately takes the flank. So the guy's charging in with this big lunging thing. She sees it immediately, sidesteps. She puts herself back in the blender, but only for a moment. Bam, She did a manipulation. Again, the character Hammer Girl, she's Hammer Girl. She's probably had a lot of time and experience with the hammer, so feels comfortable doing weapon manipulation from being in a hammer grip to an ice pick grip, and she shoved it into the guy's kidney. This is actually something good that we should break down. Her assailant comes in with a straight number one, hammers into the guy with the claw side, using the claw to hook around, clearing the way to hammer into the shoulder. Then she does a duck under. While she does a duck under, she does a manipulation so that her hammer is now in an ice pick grip. She turns around, jams that weapon in, and essentially tears out. That tear out is possible if she doesn't get a lot of flesh, but it is a little bit difficult. If she went in deep, she would have a lot harder time to tear out. But we can assume that she didn't get too much meat, tore out, and continues with her progression. I loved everything about this scene. I loved it because, again, using two weapons, but also you'll note how quickly the weapons change from defensive to offensive, and how all of the manipulation changes how the weapons are used. You have a hammer grip changing to an ice pick grip. You're fighting with the face of the hammer, you're defending with the claw of the hammer, then you're attacking with the claw of the hammer. Awesome. This is actually our first look at what the Filipinos call Sinawali, which is basically, it means in Filipino to weave. And what you're seeing is a weaving pattern. You're seeing two weapons flowing. So usually the weapon is either attacking, or defending, attacking, or simultaneously attacking. These are all Sinawali moves, right? Her choice of weapon changes things slightly. While I was practicing this a number of times, I frequently found myself, as I was doing the swing, I found myself catching every once in a while. You can do these double motions pretty easily. You just have to be cautious with the claw part of it. But otherwise, all of the motions of Sinawali are all here. She can do that. And Hammer Girl dodges another weapon. Okay, so you'll note that in this scene, Hammer Girl's hammer is down. What she could have done is a number 3 strike. We haven't talked about that before, so let's do that now.
Cool.
So here, the assailant's coming in with a left-handed thrust. Because of the angle, you can't really see what Hammer Girl is doing. It looks kind of like she's doing a pull or wave out, but decides to duck for some reason as well. This is a good opportunity for us to talk about the number 3 attack. We've talked about the number 1, which is the diagonal from the right side, and the number 2, which is diagonal from the left side. The number 3 is an attack that you see a lot of really seasoned Kali people use as an opener. Hammer Girl could have done the pullback and also done a simultaneous number 3 hammer up. That, I think, would have been a more effective and efficient option available to Hammer Girl in that particular exchange. Otherwise, great move. Just another option available for her. Hammers with her left hand, and then with her right hand, she's about to do a hard number 2 to the guy's face.
Yeah.
That was dark. Okay. This character, Hammer Girl, she's really familiar with the weapon. She's hitting him with pretty much the entirety of the hammer. That's how comfortable she is with it. She knows not to just hit with the head of the hammer and the face of it, but even the neck of it. She does a back fist with the left hand using the hammer. She misses, so note offensive, now defensive. He comes in, she attacks the shoulder. Defensively, she doesn't want to get cut. Then slides her hand down to the wrist, comes across, she does a step in so that she can do a wind up to the back of the face. Bam, knocking him open. And then switches her left hand to get the claw grip and come up, hooking the chin, causing damage. She can now look and see who's coming next. That was another really cool, really amazing exchange. She finds herself in the blender. She's pulled herself out of the blender, started the flank, and did the backhand. He too was like, I'm in the blender, changed his vertical movement. What do I mean by the blender? As he has that weapon out, I have my weapons out. This area is the blender. Whenever you're in front of the person, right here, you're in the blender. You don't want to be there. Because what happens to things in the blender? They get chopped up. The best attacks all happen from the flank. Okay, hammer hit. Bam. Oh, stop playing around.
Jesus Christ.
She's upset at somebody.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we have another low attack. So this low attack we call a number 7. She does a number 7 with her left hand to the knee. Hammer Girl is doing some really great targeting here. On the number 7 attack, because she has a blunt object, she's attacking bone. As we talked about in Donnie Yen's kill zone. If I have a blunt object, I'm really going for bone. If I have an edged weapon, I'm really going for muscle. Edged weapon, I want to cut. I want to cut muscle, sinew, arteries. When I have a blunt object, I want to crush, crack, shatter, splinter, bone. That's what I'm looking to do. Here, she has a blunt object. So what is she going for? Instead of going for the femoral artery, she's going for the knee. One thing I also like about this is how she used Sinawali. Both hands are being offensive at the exact same time. She's attacking and attacking. The first one is to open up, and the second one is to solidify the damage. She's angry.
Oh my God.
Just like when we were doing Under Siege, when Steven Seagal plunged the weapon into the fontanelle of Tommy Lee Jones' character. That's what we're seeing here. With a much more efficient weapon for that particular strike, actually. Come in, boom, she does duck, another number 7. Ooh. Also goes straight down and literally hammers into the guy's foot. Okay, see, that is one moment that pulled me out of the fight because it's so unrealistic, and we're gonna talk about that in a moment. She lifts him up, comes around, basically strikes down with her right hammer in the claw grip, and then basically does an unzippering. It's as graphic as it sounds. A zipping up is essentially number 3 or number 4 upward. You're zipping the person up. Here, you're unzipping the person down. That happens with a knife or sword, does not happen with a claw. Because the whole point of a claw in the hammer, as we said, is to grip. So once that's in, all she can do is extricate the weapon out. She can't pull it down to get it out. She's gonna pull the guy to the floor, and then she can pull it out, but she's not unzippering him. So that, completely not possible. As we're about to see right now. Now again, what Hammer Girl did was she plunged the claw into her assailant and she unzipped him as if this was an edged blade, the edge facing downward. Here with a hook, we'll see what happens. I'm actually genuinely curious because there's a bit of disagreement with the crew and myself. I feel that it's not gonna come out. I could be wrong. They feel that I would be able to unzip. We're about to find out. Here we go. Yeah, that's not going. So, it's in there. And this is precisely why there are no Warhammers that have a claw grip, because this is what's happening. And I don't know how strong Hammer Girl is. I'm not that strong, but I'm not unzipping anything. That's not happening. Now that's a kick.
Yeah.
Can you do that, Chad?
I don't think I've done ballet, Logan, so I don't think so.
I think you should apply yourself.
I
think life is all about trying.
Yeah.
All right, here she comes in, boom, hook. Now she's just drumming, right? And that makes sense too. You're drumming. We have that movement in Kali, and we're gonna talk about that as well. She ignores that completely by coming in, and again, hammers into the guy's chest downward. That is a very, very common attack in pretty much any weapon art that uses 2 weapons. This double motion, because you're doubling the amount of attacks that are happening. This is a devastating attack, but this is more so. She comes in, she still had her leg wrapped around the guy. It's almost like she remembered. She's like, oh yeah, you. She comes in, let's just take care of you, dispatches him.
Oh my goodness.
And then drags that guy with the claw of her hammer. That part makes sense, right? That's what the claw is for. The claw is meant to grip. She does a lot of these almost drumming motions, and that works well for her character. Hammer Girl is both deaf and mute, and also partially blind. I can understand why she would choose the hammer as her weapon. Even though she's a smaller individual, this does give you a sensory feeling, right? You're hammering into something, you feel the vibrations. There's something about drumming, about beat, right, that is very soothing. So I can understand why she would choose the hammer. In terms of picking a weapon that she can get easily, inexpensively, at any point, at any time, great choice. However, there are a number of limitations when it comes to the hammer. They're not very well balanced. And this is on purpose, is it not? Because the heavier head is so that you can generate that additional force. But again, it takes a lot of forearm strength to have that level of dexterity. As we saw in the scene, she's able to manipulate it really easily. Why? Familiarity with the weapon. She's used the weapon enough that it feels familiar to her, so she knows how to use it. She knows how to manipulate it safely and quickly and efficiently each time. That's a pro. In terms of cons, essentially when it comes to the shape of the weapon, that's the issue. Let's talk about how you can essentially strike someone with it. You could strike someone with it, the head or the butt, the face or the claw, or either cheek. But in terms of maximum damage, the maximum damage is obviously going to be with the face and the claw. The issue with the face is that it tends to slide off. If you Google a warhammer, you'll see that a warhammer generally has a little protrusion in the front. And that enables it to hammer in and drive all of that force straight in rather than sliding off, because that's what naturally happens. On the flip side, you have the claw. The purpose of the claw is essentially that, to claw, to grip. So when she unzips the person or zips up the person, horrifying I know, bear with me, you're not able to do that because the whole intention of the claw is to grip. So she's able to, as you saw, pull people. This is what she's doing with the claw. She's actually, in this instance, using the claw correctly. Because it grips, she's able to pull the person down and is able to drum the chest with both hammers. Thanks so much for recommending this scene. I loved it. It's a great scene. I love the Sinawali aspect of it. I love the targeting aspect of it, how she used number 7, how she used both weapons, both offensively, defensively. She used all parts of the weapon, the face, the claw. Great fight scene. I give this scene a solid B+. Thanks for watching.